Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Yo, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the morning show here on Piper Academy. Guys, we got a great show lined up for you today. I got an alert last night about midnight, waking me up, telling me, hey, this moment you've been waiting for, it just happened. We're going to talk about that today. That is the bullish signal. Also, we've got some talk about BLM calling out the DNC for anointing the next oligarch dictator of the United States, Kamala Harris. We're going to take a look at that article because that's super interesting. And we're going to look at the charts. We're going to see where we're at and go support areas and where we can get into some trades. All that and more today on the morning show on Piper Academy. Let's get it, guys. Classes in session. What's up, everybody? I just noticed that I did not have my my microphone muted during that little intro. I thought it was, and it was not. And I just went, excuse me on the microphone. But that's okay. We're here, and good morning to everybody that's joining us today. We got a lot of stuff to break out today, but I won't be doing it by myself. OC guy still not here. He's still having issues down in Mexico, but that's okay. We're going to try to get him in here later. But I do have my boy, my ride or die Trade Fly. We're going to make a song for that, and we'll get Alexo Crypto to beatbox the entire background. So what's up, man? How you doing, bro?
Oh yeah. No, you went full yo-yo on that intro, man.
Yo.
And then you came back with the let me clear my throat.
Let me clear my throat. Ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
I'm ready. I want to give a
Ready for
shout out to
Nashville,
Crypto
baby.
Trades. I got to give a shout out to Crypto Trades. He was dropping some of the funniest stuff ever yesterday in the Discord. That guy, when he rolls into the room, man, like people blush, and like some people just like have to go to confession at church. Like this man, he brings it when he walks in the room. So I love him. Good dude there. And then we got a lot of FD Whites. Did you see all the FD Whites and the Detroit Cats dropping in the chat? It was awesome.
And the emojis are looking fresh, bro.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So how you been? You're getting ready to head to Bitcoin conference. That happened today, right? Bitcoin conference?
So I think Thursday is like the first day of it.
Okay, so tomorrow. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You're right. Thursday. I'm off on days. Yes, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And you're going to head out tomorrow.
That is correct. Yeah, I'm going to try to catch a little bit of the karate combat. I'm going to take my little dude down there the first night, so that'll be cool. Let him have a little experience in Nashville, and then Friday, Saturday night, come find me because it's going to be game on. We'll probably be calling Piper at midnight and just giving him crap, for not being there because he had an opportunity. I want to let everyone know that he had an opportunity to be there. I just saying. Look at him blushing right now. He knows. In the
military, we would call you a Blue Falcon. Blue Falcon, the BF, the buddy effort.
Let me fly.
Yes, the Blue Falcon has landed. Guys, right there. That's him.
See the blue?
That's the one.
See the blue?
I see. You see Fifth Collapse there in the chat? Do you see Fifth Collapse there in the chat?
Nah.
That is OC guy, just so you know. Just so you guys know. I know that that's OC guy. He tried to drop in on the live stream, and it did not work for him. So shout out to him. He's still trying to work it, guys. He's working it on the back end. But that's okay. Good morning to you, OC. We appreciate you trying, man. Let's get into some news. We got a lot of news. This indicator last night, I'm sleeping. I'm passed out. I'm laying next to Miss Piper, sleeping, snoring away, dreaming of, $1 million Bitcoin. And what happens? I get my alarm going off. And I have do not disturb on my phone, but I do have it set where my alerts on TradingView can come through and wake me up because you never know. You never know, right? So I don't have a lot of them. What's that?
Said he is wise. He is wise.
I don't have a lot of them set. So when it pops, it's something serious. And I had this one set. I set it with you guys here on the live stream, and it went off last night, guys. We're going to be taking a look at that too. So let's go ahead and jump into some news, unless you got anything for the people before we head over to the newsroom.
Unless you want to call some people out in the chat.
Yeah, you do that.
Rundown
Call
real
some
quick.
people out in the chat, man. Let's do it. Let's go.
Do it. All right, we got our man Hart, Kyle Fields, Justin Eubanks, Ninja Glock, Trade Intuition Joe, Alexander G, Best Mind in the House, FD White, throw those emojis in the chat, and scrolling username. Who else we got? Crypto Trades, we were just talking about you. Muhammad Nazarian, Dustin Singer, Indie Rock Crypto, sorry about that. Mr. J, my man, Eric Ballin Wallen, and who else do we got? Arson 246, Fifth Collapse. That's OC guy. Talked about that one. Buck, how you doing? Warrior 4588. And our
It's your fellow aviator.
John Foster Crypto, Crux of Crypto. And I think I got Harp already. So there you go. That about wraps it up. If I missed it, I'm sorry, but thank you for being here. We truly appreciate you.
Of course we do. Of course we do. You know who else we appreciate? We appreciate Decrypted.tax being the sponsor of today's daily news. Let's jump over into it, guys. Fear and greed, sitting at 69. We are in greed right now. So that's where we're sitting at. Nothing big, nothing major, nothing important. Extreme greed, maybe right around the corner. I could see it, but guys, we got a lot of bullishness going on. Jump over to these crypto bubbles. Take a look here on the daily. Everything turning green this morning. Quite a bit of red. Now we're starting to see some green. Looking down here a little bit, we see Bitcoin is sitting at 66,700, Ethereum at 3463. And I do want to point out that while we did have an ETF launch yesterday for Ethereum, we are only down 0.5%, a 0.5% on the daily, guys. And there was a while there yesterday where Ethereum stayed right in its location. It wicked down when everything started to fall, but it pulled right back up much quicker than anything else. So we're going to take a look at that chart today, too. I think we all need to be aware of that. Solana is up 2.3% today, guys. XRP up 5.9. XRP getting another rally here, guys. Moved up to the position number 6. It is currently sitting at 62.8 cents there. Doge is up 1.3. Any big movers here in the top 20 besides those? It does not look like it. We got to go all the way down to number 31 to even get above that 2% mark. So, yeah. Maker up 3.7. So there's your movers today, guys. A couple of them there: XRP, ENA, Flow, Tau, Hopcat, Pyth. That's really about it. Let's go ahead and jump over into the liquidation, see how they're looking here, guys. In the past 24 hours, we had about 44,278 traders liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $130.32 million. That is largest single liquidation on OKX. It was Ethereum for $8.58 million. And let's take a look at the economic calendar because we got some big news data this week, guys. First off, we did get data this morning. Let's give this a refresh and get rid of those white boxes. There we go. We have, bam. There we go. Goods and trades balance came out this morning, guys. Came in pretty much right on. Consensus was 98 billion down to the downside, forecasted to be 102 billion to the downside, came in at about 96.8 billion. So not as bad as they were expecting, better than previous there. Wholesale inventories and retail inventories coming in right along the lines of forecast and consensus. So nothing major there today, guys. We're going to be getting GDP growth tomorrow. That's going to be an important one. So GDP growth rate, remember back when it went negative twice in a row and everybody said it's a recession. We're looking right now to see growth rate higher than our previous. So this should be a decent pump for the markets. And then we got core PCE coming out on Friday. This is the number one thing that they look at when it comes to the Federal Reserve, guys, for rate cuts decisions and rate hike decisions. So we're going to be watching that right now, expected to be neutral. So we're going to be definitely seeing how this comes in. The PCE price index for year over year actually expected to be down. So that's good. We should be able to get pumps. If these come in clean like they are projected, we should be able to get some pumps coming off of that data. And then let's go ahead and just jump over here and we'll talk about this real fast. And then we'll go look at the chart for Bitcoin. How about that? How about that? Bitcoin receives breaking bullish buy signal from crucial indicator. Of course, you guys would know this if you've been here on the show because we set an alert for this and I told you I would let you know. So here we go. Bitcoin just flashed a major buy signal. Could the huge price surge be next, guys? a well-known Bitcoin analyst named Charles Edwards and founder of Caprioli Investments Funds, has shed light on what may be a major bullish signal for Bitcoin. The hash ribbon indicator, which Edward developed in 2019, has just flashed a buy signal. Let's jump over here. Let's jump into the chart and let's go see. Oh, look, I don't even have TradeFly up here. TradeFly, I failed you, bro. Let me get you in this camera shot here. How about that? We got to get him in here. Come on, man. TradeFly, where are you? There we go. TradeFly is in the house. There we go. Perfect. I had it set for OC, man. I'm sorry. I didn't even set you up in it. Let's get over into the chart and see how we're looking there. And we will jump in and take a look at Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin getting a little pump here this morning. You can see that we had a hidden bearish divergence. We had an uptrend arrow that printed here. We were hitting on that 30% of the relative strength index Heikin-Ashi candles. We got a nice, clean, small red candle and then a pump up, breaking that signal line. And right now we are heading on the way back up towards the 786 in the top of this falling channel trend line. But let's get over here and let's just show what I saw this morning. This is what happened last night. You guys can see I'm on the weekly and it says we got an orange. That's recovering. But I told you I would set this for that early warning because I like early warning. We'll put it on the daily. Guys, we just triggered that buy indicator right there on the Caprioli hash ribbon. This means that the miners are back into full-blown hash rate and they are not selling off. So this is, we're out of capitulation on the daily. Let's check the 2-day. 2-day, out of capitulation. The 3-day, out of capitulation. The 4-day, out of capitulation. Still present on the 5-day. It drops off when we go to the weekly. Guys, we are almost there. When this thing pops on the weekly, I want to go back and show you guys what happens here with this. First off, we had it back here. Right here, this downside movement here is what we had that happened, and then it went up, okay? We had it pop here, and that led to the bottom takeoff. But if we go back over here, we look at last cycle post-halving. Here we go, right there. Let's take a look and see what we're seeing here. You see this one here? We had this nice little pullback here. This moved from that top to that bottom there was about, let's see, that was about a 14% move to the downside. And then we get the green after the halving, it takes off. Well, we have another one here. And this one happens sometime at the end of the year that we get another one because we go into capitulation midway through the year, according to this, about August time period. Up here, back down, get another one. Guys, that one here, from the point of popping here was a move of about 266%. Let's jump back over. One more thing I want to show you on the article, and then we'll come back out and we'll see what TradeFly is seeing on his charts, and then we'll talk about it because I want to have that conversation. Charles Edwards here, he said the hash ribbon developed by Caprioli Investments in 2019, technical indicator that tracks the recovery of Bitcoin's hash rate following periods of minor capitulation. The metric identifies crucial buy signals based on the correlation between the hash rate and price recovery, which we just showed you right there. He's talking about that buy signal. We've been watching it here for a while. He said, what about Bitcoin's price? Following Edwards' announcement, Bitcoin price has already experienced a modest increase, rising approximately 1% from 65,780 to 66,400. However, as can be understood based on Edwards' opinion, this should be just the beginning for the main cryptocurrency. Thus, previously, he forecast a substantial long-term price target for Bitcoin, projecting a potential rise to $300,000. All right, so that we got it out. Let's jump over here and let's talk about this. And do you want to show anything on your chart, or do you want to talk about the hash rate ribbon, and then we'll go look at your chart?
Yeah, so I mean, not much to talk about. I do have the liquidity, the heat map up, and then I usually like to tie it into the chart. But in terms of the hash rate ribbon, I think you showed on the chart, like it's been pretty accurate. It's been a nice little indicator, and it's one of the few things that you can use to potentially get ahead in a trade, vice kind of have this like lagging indicator. So it's something really important, I would say, to bring into your scan if you guys aren't watching it. So that was a
Yep.
nice little call, nice little nugget there for people to take a look at. It's one thing I used to look at back in the day as well.
Yeah, it's a amazing indicator. Shout out to OC. He's the one that showed me that a long time ago. Crypto Trade said OC uses one similar to that. It is that one. I just changed the settings a little bit, but yeah, great indicator. You guys need to add it. And we talked about before the market started their pullback. We said, hey, we're in capitulation, and now we're getting the buy signal. So if you guys have listened to me when I said we're in capitulation, you could have been prepared for that pullback pre. And now I'm giving you guys the notification. We just
So
popped a
that
buy signal. So what's that?
Yeah, that flashed right before the bottom of Bitcoin. So when it
Yeah.
went down to its bottom, the local bottom, it flashed. And so that was one of the reasons, that was one of the indicators I was looking at personally when I was like, hey, I think this might be it. I think this is the bottom. And I made like a whole video about it and tied that indicator in with a few other indicators
Yeah,
that are
it
more,
flashed right. It
like,
flashed at the very bottom. I can jump over there and show people what you're talking about there real fast. Because this was absolutely what he's talking about here, guys, is the bottom of the market here in December 2022. November 2022 through about January 2023, when we were marking the bottom here, you guys could see right before it popped up, bam, right there. That is this one move here, and then all of this move since then.
yeah.
Everything since January 9th, 2023. That's not 2024. We're in that now. 2023. Almost over a year and a half ago. Everything from that move then on was all right after that buy signal. We did have another one here, pulled back, got a nice bounce support, and came up even more. Guys, I'm waiting for this weekly. As soon as it pops on the weekly, I'm going to be letting you guys know. Let's jump over to your chart, TradeFly, see what you're seeing on those charts. And let's see what levels are we looking at? Because right now, I think we could get some small pullbacks. Obviously, we're still in that accumulation phase. It is sitting at about 66% of the way through, according to Rect Capital. But let's take a look at your chart and see where we could be heading.
Cool. So just interesting tidbit from the chat,
I am your
Warrior.
chart today. I'm your chart. I love it. This is great. There we go, TradeFly. We
Yeah.
got you.
And now
Nope,
it's
that's
me. Let's
TradeFly.
go. Yeah.
Welcome
Uh,
to the Crypto
I just
Nightcap Show. No, I'm just joking.
I don't know, man. I think mine was a little cleaner. I got to be honest. Competition's on
Uh,
now, baby.
well, it's
Hey,
because
so
you're never here anymore. So, I got things set up for OC. Just saying.
hey,
No, it's good,
it's
man.
good. I was working my ass off on getting that thing cleaned up. But hey, if you guys are on OBS, let me know. I can hook you up with some scenes. But Warrior 588, he said 17 of the 19 times it flashed, it hit. The only two times that it missed was COVID and FTX. So that's a nice little nugget, man. Thanks for that info. All right, so liquidation heat map. Got it up here. I don't know where the hell Piper went, but don't worry, I'm still here. So uh, liquidity, we're pretty much right in it, up to about 67,000. So that does make sense if you're coming over to the charts. We'll look at that in a second. But we're at about the point of control for the range. There is a little hot spot down at about 63.50. That makes sense here. You can see where we got multiple tests of support before it ultimately started making a move up. So people are taking their leverage longs rated about 65,350. So good for them. Let's see. Let's zoom out here and let's look at the weekly and see what we got. So yeah, the hotter of the two spots I'll say is down. Price action would be kind of down. And really the hottest spot is about 64,800, where you can see like $500 million of liquidity just sitting in that one area. All in all, you probably got way more than $1 billion of liquidity sitting right around 64.8, around that area. So wouldn't be surprised to see the price action follow that, but sometimes it just gets left behind. One of the things that was interesting as I was watching the price go up was watching people getting liquidated over and over again, because every time price action moved up, you see them come in with leverage shorts positions and they were getting wiped out. And then it would come down and then it would come out and it would clear out the positions again, because they were putting their liquidity right over the area of resistance where there was a rejection. And then they did it again, it was a rejection. But what was interesting is when it got up to here, and I was talking about this a couple of days ago, this might be something for you guys to pay attention to when you start looking at these liquidation heat maps, is that it cooled down. It was almost like they got beaten into submission. And then there was no more real liquidity for the maker to grab, right? And so when we're ranging and we're kind of just bouncing back and forth between support and resistance, like, you know, it wasn't surprising that there was a little bit of a pullback, and there was a couple of things in confluence on the charts as well. So let's kind of look at the charts. All right. So what we're facing right now, I'm not going to deep dive in it, but we do have the 20-day and that is the SMA on the 4-hour chart. So just keep that in mind. But there's a little bit of confluence, right? You have the point of control here for the whole range. All right. So if you take a fixed range volume profile over the whole range, I'll just kind of zoom back just a little bit here so you can see it. There you go. So they're populated right there. But for the whole range, you can see we are now testing that point of control. Now, that point of control does seem to be pretty important because when we got up here, it tried to stay on top of it for a bit before it ultimately broke down. One of the things that I was talking about on my show, or the Crypto Nightcap, not really my show, but one of my concerns is that we get underneath of this, right? And if you guys were watching, one of my concerns is that we come here, we retest this, and then we flip that into resistance, and then you get a breakdown. All right. So be very, very careful here. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but I would be careful. The good news is when I was looking at that, I was looking for continuation of the RSI kind of to go down and right. Well, we got a pretty steep drop, and then we got into an oversold position, right? And then it started to trend back up. What you got to keep an eye on, and you may have to move to some smaller time frames to see if it's developing or not. But what you have to keep an eye on is this right here. You don't want this to bend over and start going back down, right? Because then you start getting that trend down and right of the RSI or the prime oscillator. And sometimes you can kind of get stuck at the bottom where it's just kind of just hanging out at the bottom, right? That's usually bad. I don't know that that's going to be the case, but just be careful. The point of control could be resistance. If you're going to go long and take a long position, let it get on top first. The OC retest, we talk about that all the time. Let it retest and then look for that continuation up and right. But you want to see that the prime oscillator is working up and right. So sorry for this. I have now developed spaghetti syndrome and going full OC on you. But that's a couple things that I'm looking at. If it does pull back, one of the big areas that I've been looking about is 63,000, about 400. Okay. And that's right here, right? You see a very obvious area of support, very obvious area of resistance, area of support, and then resistance. So it had that breakdown with the retest, right? That lets me know that this area is significant. But what am I seeing that's giving us confluence is now we have the dynamic reactor working its way up. All right. Dynamic reactor is working its way up. If the price does come back down and right, what it's going to do is it's going to have this flat line. That's what this area is right here. So that is now lining up with not only an area of support, but then you have the dynamic reactor. So if it comes down, that's a key area for me to keep an eye on. I would say set on alert at about 63,400 and then come down and bounce it off the RSI or the prime oscillator. So those are a couple areas that I'm looking at. Obvious area for the top side, just give you a short-term target. It's a 2021 high. That's about 69K.
Yeah, I got about 63,550 there for an alert set of mine already because I have the 50-day, the 100-day, and the dynamic reactor all sitting pretty there, combining together the perfect trio, just like our show when OC's here. And he's going to be dropping in about 10 minutes. So we'll have him for the end of the show. Yeah. And by the way, I went ahead and I already fixed all the rest of the scenes in publish mode while you were broadcasting because I can shut everything away and leave that as the broadcast and work in the background. So hashtag eCam. We're going to have, it's like the OBS eCam war. I love it, man. It's just,
I see what's going on here.
All right, let's get into some more news I want to talk about today. Good Lord. Trigger my PTSD, why don't you, TradeFly? Did you guys see this here? This is pretty cool. I want to show you guys this thing here. This is the Las Vegas Sphere. Look what they did. They went full degen and Bitcoined that thing out in Las Vegas. So beautiful and beautiful.
Did they do that?
Yeah, last night it got published that they did a Bitcoin Sphere display, and it's really awesome. So
that would explain a move.
Right? Are you bullish on Bitcoin? Las Vegas is. Well, of course, they do like to gamble there, so I don't know. That may not be what you think it is. Guys, look at here. Also, this just came in, and I got to show you guys a response to this because the response to this was even funnier than was even better than this post here. Just in luxury car manufacturer Ferrari to accept Bitcoin and crypto payments in Europe. So if you want to get a Ferrari, just sit around and wait for your crypto to moonshot, and you guys should be good. But just so you know, FD White came in and said, breaking, Ferrari accepts Bitcoin payments. Also breaking, I can't afford a Ferrari. So shout out to FD White. I love it. Oh, it says it's been deleted. Hey, you may have deleted that post, FD, but I have it here in my bookmark, so it's forever there, bro. Sorry about that. Then let's jump over here. let's jump over here and talk about this because this was pretty interesting. Let me get down here and get this to open. Show more. Thank you. There we go. This is from the official Black Lives Matter X page. You can see here they've over like almost 1 million followers. It's their legit page. But I do want to show you what they posted here yesterday because this is pretty interesting coming from BLM in response to Kamala Harris. They said this is a timeline of events. Sunday, Joe Biden drops out. Kamala Harris announces campaign with Biden endorsement. Kamala Harris says she's going to work hard. Keep in mind here, guys, work hard to earn the nomination. Kamala Harris makes calls to party delegates. If you guys don't know, those party delegates, they're pretty much the political elites, okay? Monday, Kamala Harris continues making calls to party delegates. Kamala Harris makes 2 public speeches. 2. She makes 2 after more phone calls. She announces, AP announces Kamala Harris has secured enough delegates to be the Democratic nominee by Monday night. So 24 hours later, Kamala Harris releases this statement, noting that she has worked hard to go out and earn this nomination. For 24 hours, making some phone calls and 2 speeches. A 24-hour process of talking to party bosses is not democratic, nor is it a process Democrats should be proud of. We do not live in a dictatorship. Delegates are not oligarchs. Installing Kamala Harris as a Democratic nominee and an unknown vice president without any public voting process would make the modern Democratic Party a party of hypocrites. We call on the DNC to create a process that allows for public participation in the nomination process, not just a nomination by party delegates. And then they got a whole statement here. Guys, this is pretty serious. And if we jump over here, Black Lives Matter in this headline slams Democrats for anointing Kamala Harris without primary vote. And I just want to call into a reminder for you guys. You guys may recall this. Biden labels Trump a threat to democracy after urging Americans to tone down on heated rhetoric. Let's jump over here to Duo Cam. Let's talk about which one is a threat to democracy. Is Trump's hurting feelings, name calling type stuff, and and his abrupt and very edgy approach to things. Is that a threat to democracy? Or is literally bypassing the democratic process to appoint your chosen representative for a bunch of rich elite delegates a threat to democracy? Tradefly, which one is it? You're muted, bro.
I said, does anyone else feel like this might be a loaded question? Yeah,
Maybe.
man. So
Just maybe. Let's see what you say.
Obviously, the first one, like the whole deal is they are supposed to represent the people. How are they representing the people when the people never had the vote? Just asking for a friend, they never got to actually pick who they wanted. So
At all.
that's not really, yeah, that's
At all.
not really what I think the spirit of the rules were. But here or there, the old Trumper, man, he's got his moments, where there's good and bad with him, right? He does need to kind of tone it down sometimes, but he's like anti like following, the traditional government ways. That's why a lot of people, and even in his own party, have an issue with kind of the way he conducts himself because he doesn't just follow the herd. He kind of does his own thing. I think I genuinely believe he does have the best interest of America. I'm sure there's probably some underlying things in there where, like, for businesses and people of his stature, he's probably going to put some things in place that are beneficial to those individuals. I wouldn't put it past him, like I almost wouldn't blame him. But at the same time, like, I think generally he wants what's best for America. And, I have no judgment on Kamala, honestly. Like, I'm going to be straight up with you. I just don't know much about her. I feel like she's been one of the most mysterious VPs, like, in my mind, where, like, I don't see much of her, or maybe I'm just too busy.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be interesting seeing her at Bitcoin 2024, man. I am stoked. Like, everybody's going to be down there. Like, tickets are like, I don't know if you
I
saw
was
some of
getting ready to
the
talk
whale
about
passes.
this.
Holy moly, dude. They are through the roof right now. And I think Trump is asking for like 60K or something to sit down and like talk with them. I
Yeah,
mean, there's
photo
all kinds of
ops.
craziness going on.
Photo ops,
Yeah, it's
60K. Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
It's
So
wild.
I just want to point out that yesterday you were talking about this, that there was no, like I even showed you, there wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. You and I were on the crypto nightcap, and I showed you that political stance on crypto page. And I said, look, this is Kamala Harris, NA, not available. She's never made a public statement on crypto.
She's
Now,
about
all
to.
of a sudden, that she needs crypto bros, now all of a sudden she's going to the Bitcoin conference. I actually think that this does more to hurt her than help her, if people really put their brain power towards this. Now the crypto people are important. Yeah, you're a day late and a Bitcoin short. So I just that's my stance on that. Look,
I mean, that's a
never
tough
ever said a
stance.
word about anything crypto, and
And
now
that
we matter. So
I don't know. I mean, I think almost like that's the point, right? Because she's never come out and addressed crypto, which means she may not have been anti-crypto. She just couldn't say anything because, her party and
because she
Biden
lives
was
because she lives in
Biden
a
generally was.
dictatorship.
Well, that's the reason we don't want puppets as presidents.
That's right. That's true. Guys, let us know in the chat. Is she a day late and a Bitcoin short, for making a stand, for crypto, or Bitcoin? Let me know. I
God,
would
there's
love to
more
hear.
Bitcoin than all of us.
I There's a little Bitcoin in all of us. I love it. That's great. Let's go ahead and get into some altcoins, man. We're at the top of the hour. I just wanted to break this out. I was shocked to hear BLM come out with, blasting in all angles, all angles. That's what they did, on this whole stance about her self-anointing, through the political, non-political, normal process, to just in place herself as the nominee without the people say. This, folks, this is the threat to democracy right there. There you go. So you can ban me now, YouTube. I appreciate you. Let's jump into those charts, no fly trade fly, and let's see what you got, bro. What have you got some news up there you're looking at? What are you
Oh no,
looking
I
at
was
on the
actually looking at the same exact thing as you.
Oh,
I
really?
had it up.
Nice.
I just didn't know if you were gonna come over to my screen or not. So,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah,
Oh,
let's
no, I
go ahead
had
and
it.
let's pull something. I got something for Buck though, man. Buck said, "Who cares how late she is? Let her pump our bags." You know what? I got a song for you, Buck.
Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up.
Let's go. All right, let's
I
take a
love it.
look at AVAX. I've been talking about AVAX a little bit here recently, and I just haven't been able to look at it over the past couple of days. I did know it made a move. One of the days, I think it made about a 10% move. We got a good pop. So one of the things that I do remember talking about, I was like, hey, let it get over all of these moving averages before you want to take a long entry, right? So it gets above them. It says a retest here basically of the 20-day on the 4-hour chart, and then it's finding resistance here at the golden pocket. But once it made its move and it had its breakout, that thing took off. Now, what it's now done, right? You can see right here has been pretty much resistance at about $28.84. We've come back down. We're now retesting this area of support, which was resistance. So we're retesting it, and now we're starting to make that move up and right again. So really, this is a nice little area for it, but you could find some resistance here at about the top side of the golden pocket 618 at about $30.50. And you know what? I see a gray line. So you know what that means for me? At some point, I have marked a fixed range volume profile, which there it is. So that is the value area low. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me turn that off. All right. So that's the value area low. So that is why it looks like it came up as I'm zooming in here, and look, it wicked right off of that, or it's having a little rejection off of that area. So, I mean, the good news is we are on the top side of all the moving averages on the 4-hour chart. Let's actually look at the daily real quick just to see if we can get a better look at it. But I do like that it's starting to make a move in the right direction. And then you can see right here also the prime oscillator is actually looks like it wants to bend up and right again. If we drew a straight line, it's not really trending up and right, but at the same time, not so bad. Let's look at the daily though. I want to see where the moving averages are on the daily chart. 'cause I haven't looked at this in a while. Ooh, look at that dynamic reactor, man. Gosh, that thing is
Beautiful.
clutch.
It's beautiful.
So
What is that,
it
velvet?
is, man. There was nothing there, right? So, like, it comes up and, like, the only thing really I guess you have the 100, but it even kinda made it through the 100-day SMA, but the dynamic reactor, it did not. So that was acting as resistance, came back down. So what do we have here? It looks like we got the 50, 20 is working its way up. So, yeah, man, I'm not I don't know, because now you're also showing a oversold. So it or overbought. So it depends on what you're looking for here. I would be kind of careful of anything like intraday scalping, at least if you're looking at the 4 hour daily, just because it's kind of hard to get an idea of which way this thing's going to go because it's getting a little volatile, right? These are big moves if you're really looking at it. So from bottom here to the diner, that's 30% move, right? And I mean, that's only going back what, just over a week, maybe 2 weeks at the most. So I would say be careful there, but what we're seeing here, right here, is where I would look at for like a breakout, right? So if we retest this area and you start seeing this movement up and right, then that would be confirmation in my eyes that we're going to start making that move or continue the move up and right. But obviously, that is going to largely hinge on Bitcoin as well, because Bitcoin is fighting resistance at the same time. So one of the things I always do, I bounce back and forth between the charts to be like, hey, are we hitting resistance or support at the same time? And one of the things I talked about on Bitcoin was the point of control, right? I said there's probably going to be an area of resistance. We could see it actually have that retest and move down. So don't be surprised if AVAX kind of follows that trend as well. But high side targets, right? So let's give you some numbers to look at. The obvious area right here is going to be where the dynamic reactor is. It was acting as resistance. So high side target is going to be 32.9. Again, let it come to you. I'm not very confident where it's at right now with its price action. It just feels very much in the middle, but it does feel like it wants to at least test this area. And look at this wick here. So, the more I look at it, I think it's going to try to find support here at about 28.7. So that's going to be kind of like my bottom side support range that I would be looking for. If it breaks down, then you can see where it's going to go. It's right here. So, but yeah, look for some support in there. Yeah, I don't know. That's a couple of numbers for you. I don't have a lot of confidence. It just, like I said, it looks like it's testing support. It looks like it wants to make a move up and right. I just don't like with Bitcoin where it's at in the chart. So if I saw that in the same spot where it was looking for support and looking for a bounce in the same spot, I'd be a lot more confident in saying, hey, it's going to make this move up and right for a continuation. But right now, just kind of looks like we're stuck. Sorry. Wish I had something better on AVAX for you.
Yeah, something that I want to point out here on AVAX also, guys. This is something that I've been playing around with. Just little things here, little play around thing. This is called
Radar.
the Fibonacci Archer Box. It's a free indicator by Chart Prime, and it runs from swing fail patterns. It runs a fib levels from running horizontally and diagonal fibs, right? The spectrum fibs, right? The Archer box, if you will. And what we have here running right now is you can see you've got the arches, the curved levels of the fibs that are giving you that time base, and then you've got the angles of the fibs in line with the horizontal. So you've got like the 236, the 382, the 50, the 618, 786, so on and so forth. And it kind of gives you that projection of how it's going to come down to the levels. We have a couple of things that are going on here. One, let me get rid of some Mexican spaghetti because I'm going to be drawing some more in here. One thing that's going on here is we have this from the top here. We do get this pullback right off of the 100-day moving average. We pull down directly on the 236 fib, right? On the time-based ones, right? We come down here to below the 382, but we're running along this diagonal line here. This diagonal angle here, guys, is taking us to the 382 also. So you see 382 down to the 382. Then we get our pump up. We reject cleanly again on the 382. And now it looks like we're now following this 50 line, which is this diagonal one here. So I'm still learning this thing. It's very interesting how it plays out. But I am expecting that this is going to come back down here and to the 618, which would be your golden pocket coming down this line, and then we should get another pump up. If we do not get that and we break that, then we could be following this line down over to the 618 here. So 618 to
What's your
618.
618 price? What's the price on that?
That 618 is coming in at $29.
$29. Let's look at it on the 4 hour.
Which was this support level back here that we
Yeah.
closed those candles on.
So that's the bottom side. So if you take a fib retracement off like the macro from bottom all the way to top, I mean that's darn close. So the bottom side of mine was 28.7. So
Nice.
interesting. So that adds confluence, right? And that's, you saw a nice bounce off of that too. Like if I'm just looking at it on the 4 hour, there was a great bounce off of that area. So
For sure.
nice.
Sure.
That's cool.
Awesome.
I'm gonna take a look at that.
Can you pull up your XRP chart while I do something over here on mine real fast?
Yeah.
Let's check out XRP.
Will do. That's a stable coin, right?
Yeah, it's a stable coin. Exactly. Totally, completely a stable coin. It's actually pumped pretty good the last day or so. So.
Oh yeah, look at that, man, making a move. Yeah. FD was bearish on that too. Let's see. Yeah, so same kind of deal. Looking at XRP, one of the big things that I was looking at on XRP is this trend line. This, if you see this light blue trend line, that goes way back, and that goes back. We're gonna call it probably like 2022 June timeframe. Multiple hits. So I was following that, and a lot of people were talking about XRP. They're getting upset with it, and they're like, "Hey, it's not moving. Yada yada. Stable coin." I'm like, this is a bullish structure, dude. Like, if I've seen a chart that looks bullish, like XRP looked bullish, all the way up until the point where it broke out. And the way that I know that it was a pretty significant area, right, was when it did break out or break below. What do we get? We got a retest, and a breakdown. So that for me gave me a lot of concern for XRP once it actually broke down. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, ooh, that's not good. But one area I did have highlighted on my chart, and you guys can go back to some of the videos. I've had this area for a really long time. 42 cents was a target area, and I was really based off of this big wick right here. That big wick tells me that there is buying pressure in that zone. Okay, so came down. Look at this. We got a second retest of that area. Big wick again. All right, now this time it looked like it wanted to break down, but ultimately it didn't. I don't even know if we got a close underneath of it.
Got that big wick energy.
Yeah, big wick energy. But so this area has held up really, really well. We may have missed the boat on that, but here we go. All right. So one of the things that I always get concerned with are the moving averages. Unfortunately, do you lose out a little bit? A little bit, because look at this, the way they were spread, right? So you got to get through all that. I mean, that's 18% of the move, unfortunately. But what I say is let it get on top of this trend line. And I've talked about this before. Let it get back on this trend line. And this is what we always talk about when we're like, hey, the OC retest. So I love seeing this on the chart because this really kind of adds to what we preach here. All right, it gets on top. You get the retest of this area. It's obviously not going to be always perfect. I know some people expect it to come right down to the trend line and be like, oh, you weren't perfect. No, I wasn't. But this did play out, right? It came down, it retested, and now it's making its move up and right. So even if you were to enter right here at the trend line and follow this move up, that's a 10% move. But what are you running into? Well, now you got to run into, you saw there was a rejection right here. So where you like to see a little bit of price action, somewhere in this range, right? So let me go back and look at this on the daily, just because we want to see where this area of resistance is and where it lines up with some of this price action. And so you can see right here, it was resistance. It did break through it a couple times, but ultimately you can see where there's very clear support and resistance. As you scroll out, make it a little wider, you see these wicks off of that area. And so basically, if you're taking the median of that, where you see both support and resistance, you're at about 64 cents. All right. So that's not going to be perfect. That's a swag. But this is coming right back up to this area, right, where you can see all of that resistance. So that's what I would look for. I would look for some sort of rejection off of that area with a little bit of pullback before we ultimately see it try to make another move up. But XRP, I mean, dude, this is crazy the way it's kind of taken off. I don't know where the renewed energy is coming from. If you guys know in the chat why XRP is popping, if there's been some bullish news that's come out about it, I'd be interested to know, because this doesn't, in terms of just looking at technicals, we could play this move right here, but to explain this whole move, it would be kind of hard for me to explain a 48% move on XRP. So, but anyways, top side, 64 cents. If it pulls back, your support level is about 57. Those are your two key areas. Again, you're in a range. Let it go to those levels before you try making a move. Look for resistance here. If it does break through, then same thing we saw here. Comes down, retest, moves up. That's a 10% move, right? Same thing. Come down, retest, look for a move up. And then what do you got for a move from here to here? About 11% move. So that's the way I like to play it. I know some people are like, hey, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to hodl, maybe I'll take it all the way up to here. That's cool. You can do that. I'm just more conservative, right? Because the market moves two ways. It will not move straight up forever. So I try to take advantage of both, the moves up and the moves down. So that's what I'm looking at for XRP.
Awesome. Let's jump over and take a look at what I'm looking at here, because we had a request for Tesla. And shout out to Bobby Yaz also in the chat too. Just saw him there. Bobby Yaz, good morning to you, bro. So looking at Tesla here, guys, there's some interesting things here. Before I talk about where we are right now, what I think is going to happen, let's go back and let's talk about gap up, gap down. If you guys don't know what that is, that's when on the daily you get these gaps in stocks. And typically, we will come back to close them. Like, for example, we had one right here. We popped back up to close that out before heading back down, right? We had one that was here. We popped up enough through it to come back down. We had one here, came down to it, and then went back up. We had one here, came back up to it finally after getting out of that golden pocket. You guys can see this happens over and over and over again, where it likes to do this little move up or down to gap up or gap down to close out these gaps and then continue on with its normal price action. We have a gap over here. We have two of them, two key ones here. One big one right here that is off of the platinum pocket. Just be aware of that one. I don't think this is what's going to play out. They don't always play out. I don't think that we're going to go down to 144. However, we did have one here that I think we are likely going to head down to close out. That will close this gap out. And that will be in the range of the 300-day exponential moving average. Could get a really decent bounce off of here. If we're at that level, might just assume that we're going to come down to test the dynamic reactor, the 100 and the 200 in line with the 50. We always talk about this. When you're coming down to the 50 and you bounce off of it, that's very bullish for anything, especially for Tesla on this. It was previous resistance. We've had a lot of play in here. And that was where, once we broke through it, big push, right? Big push. So I could see us coming down to do a retest on that 50 in this range here. Well, let's go ahead and call this range about $205 to $200. That would be the area that I would watch for a bounce. If we do get our bounce there, we have another gap. We have a new fresh gap up here, guys, above this 382. And that could be the next target after getting a bounce on that. So keep an eye on those. One thing I will point out on the oscillator is we are not getting any indication yet of a reversal here on the relative strength index. The RSI with Heikenhashi candles still giving a really strong downside look here. And it does look like we are going to break the zero line here very possibly to come down to the bullish zone on the daily. Let's take a look at the 4 hours, see how that is looking. We are getting low, but we can still get lower. Nothing looking bullish here on the RSI 4 hour. And we're just now starting to get that curvature. You guys can see it takes several before we actually get the flip of the ribbon. So do not be surprised to see this come down. That line that I talked about there, that 50, right there in line with all of your EMAs. And that's what I'm seeing on Tesla. Awesome. Tradefly, what you got for us, bro?
Right on. Remember that time that I talked about SQQQ?
Yeah, I remember
Right
that. You said something about if you want to short this thing.
Yeah, you want to spit on that thing. That was before this, right? We didn't have that gap yet. So I do remember it was somewhere around here. We'll just take the top side of that move. That's about 13%, man. Not a bad little move. So keep an eye on it. All right. So I'm not gonna say get crazy with it right now, but a lot of stocks, at least tech stocks, are pulling back. And, I think Tesla had a pretty big pullback yesterday, but it looks like it wants to break out. Right. So if it breaks this moving average right here on the daily and it gets above this area right here, it's basically at it right now. You got a gap right here. It's probably going to try to fill that gap. You can see a nice little move up for the SQQQ. So basically, you're shorting the NASDAQ. If you guys are not very familiar with it, wouldn't pay too much attention to the prime score, market dumps right here. But what I'm seeing right here, prime oscillator still has room to go up and right before it hits overbought. So I would kind of anticipate at some point that it fills this gap right here on the daily. Not much of a move, but about a 4% move. So just a little quick, glance at something different we don't take a look at. I mean, there's obviously room for this thing to run up to the dynamic reactor. You can see the last time that it touched that, it got rejected pretty hard. But that's a big move. If it does move, if it made a move all the way up to the dynamic reactor, you're talking about a 20% move on top of what we've already done. So
Right.
keep that in your scan. Just something for you to
Perfect.
look at.
I got somebody here for us. This guy just
The
dropped
man,
in the background here. Yeah, got to bring him in here. Let's bring him in. What is up there,
the master
OC?
of spaghetti, the doctor of TA, OC guy.
Thank you,
There
thank
he
you
is.
guys so much. I don't know how the audio is playing out. Hopefully it does. Thank you for that introduction, Trifle. I really appreciate it. Thank you for bringing me in at last minute. I mean, Piper, I know I just jumped in. Didn't want to mess up the things, but also didn't want to miss the opportunity to say good morning to the alumni and have a great starting Tuesday. And yeah, I mean, didn't want to cut your times off. Just wanted to say good morning.
OC, it's Wednesday. We know you're on the International Space Station, but it's Wednesday here. Does anybody feel like OC is coming at us from the International Space Station today? It's great. I
I
love this.
do, but I kind of like it. I got to be honest with you.
It's just like he's in his mad scientist laboratory over there. Guys, drop
Nerd alert!
nerd alert. Guys, drop a one down in chat if you guys like seeing OC dropping here with us, man. It's awesome. I love it. OC, what do you think of our new trio cam with all of us together? I think it looks fantastic. This is great. Here, let's get this out of the way. Let's do that there. I got all kinds of stuff for this. It's great. Let's get into some more altcoins now that we have OC in here. OC, is there any alts that you're watching right now? I'd love to hear your take on what you're seeing right now on Ethereum with this ETF stuff. What's going to happen with that? So if you're ready for that, let's jump over and see what you got on Ethereum, bro.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Absolutely. So there you go. So
Yeah, I got to get your chart up here first.
as you can see,
Yeah, it's okay.
yes.
I got it. It's quick and easy. It's quick and painless. There we go. Perfect.
Perfect. Nice. All right. So I want to go over daily very quick first and also start removing. I mean, things are moving fast in talking about is this upright formation, right? This channel, this flagging here. Something that I didn't like about it is that every single time or most of the time that we see a flag up out to the right, we usually see a break to the downside. It is not always the case, and something that I really want to see before continuing up will be this little retracement that usually happens, and then a continuing to the upside. Like for example, this other retracement that happened, but in the micro market. So right here, the only thing that I see that could be saving us for really going down will be dynamic reactor, and then also a migration from the order blocks all the way up here, because so far these two order blocks are getting in the way to keep going up. And I mean, we already have the experience of Bitcoin ETF breaking up and then down. So I think that we could be having the same kind of like a movement pattern in here by basically making a head and shoulders line. Head and shoulders formation with the neckline being right at the money flow and then going to visit lower lows. So so far we're not there yet. We're bullish, and I will consider still be bullish as long as the oscillator it is above the zero line. Other than that, I'll be moving very, very, very careful with Ethereum because, as you mentioned yesterday, I think this could be one of those scenarios that buy the rumor, sell the news, right?
Yep, absolutely. It's a thing. So I did have a short yesterday. I went to lunch with Crux, and he helped me move a chair and stuff. So I appreciate him because my friend is awesome. So I appreciate that. But we went and had lunch. I showed him I made about quick. I think it was 20% or 30. No, it was like 37% gains on that trade. Shorting. I'm back into a long now though. So just it's my little play account. So when I get bored, I like to trade with some DGen money. So that's what I'm doing over there. Just playing around with it. But right now I am in a long on Ethereum, just so you guys know. So I do only a small percentage, tiny percentage, so that I can add to it. But I do think that when it pops, it's going to pop really hard. So I'm just going to keep laddering in some entries and get me a good entry. That is my play on that one. TradeFly, are you doing any trades right now? What do you got going?
No, not any trades right now.
What are you watching on the altcoin side? What's your favorite alt to watch right now with all this price action going on?
AVAX. AVAX is the one. Yeah,
well, yeah.
But we already talked about that one today.
Yeah,
one thing I do have up is Cardano.
I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Injective real fast, and then we'll come over to you, check out Cardano, and then we'll wrap it up out of here. Guys, I'm watching Injective here because we talked about this level down here. I said, look, we've got a dynamic reactor down here. If it doesn't hold, we're likely going to head down here to the platinum pocket on Injective. But we do have levels of support down here. If we get this bounce, we're likely heading up to the box. You guys remember this gold box I did up here at the top of the 786? That is where we are at right now. But looking strong here on the Oscillator Pro, looking very strong on the RSI Primed. Let's take a look at the top down and see what we're looking like on the daily here. On the daily, does look like we do have some downside coming here on the daily, but watch for us to get a rejection on the 786. Injective up quite a bit today off of that bounce. So that's what I'm seeing there. Now let's jump over to TradeFly, check out Cardano, and then we will come back to Trio Cam, talk this out. And OC is here just in time to tell these people what they win for hitting the like button. I love it. Let's go.
It's always one of my favorite parts of the day. Let me go ahead and extend this out a little bit just so it's not clogging it up. Again, this is another fib on pretty much the entire bottom to top, right? So kind of a macro perspective, I really do like those, especially on a daily time frame. That's my favorite time frame personally. But look at this. I mean, you had the dynamic reactor once again on the daily. This thing is like magic. But you also had the top side of the golden pocket, and it's acting as a resistance. And it's pretty clear here. And you see this range where it was kind of sticking around. So what it was trying to do is, it wants to flip this area that's resistance, right? It was support, now it is resistance, but it looks like it wants to try to break through that because we've kind of broken out a little bit of this right here, right? So you had this big breakdown, got over top of it, but what we're doing, it's kind of squeezed in. When you kind of zoom in, what you're looking at is now you have resistance up here, and then you see this area, it was kind of working, it was trying to break through, it had ultimately a breakdown, but then it just took off with conviction. All right, so it looks like this right now is going to flip into support like that. All right, but you also have the moving averages. So these moving averages are trying to hold it up, but really this is your kind of line in the sand to see if this is going to hold up, and that's at about 39 cents. I don't know that we're going to come back down there and retest it because it looks like it really wants to push up and right, but that's going to have a lot to do with the rest of the market. You just have resistance right here. So keep an eye top side at about 45 cents if you guys are in a scalp intraday. Look for some sort of price action off of that area as resistance. If you want to re-enter, then get over top of this golden pocket, the dynamic reactor and all of that, and look for the OC retest. You're going to hear me beat that to death. Problem is, looking at on the daily at least, is right here. You see prime oscillator is working its way down and right. So really, this was actually not a bad play. I would say it was kind of a miss. Wasn't really looking at Cardano yesterday, but retested the dynamic reactor, and you had the prime oscillator moving down and right. That would tell me a likely short opportunity right there. So, but yeah, there's a couple of prices for you to look at on Cardano.
Nice. Love it, dude. Trio Cam, here we go. OC, I don't know if you saw or not, but we talked earlier about BLM, Black Lives Matter, talking about that Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party, the DNC, had destroyed the democratic process by using only delegates, the elite of the political party, to appoint their candidate. So I don't know if you missed that or not when we were talking about it, but if you have anything today for the outro, you might want to consider that one. But what do these people get? What do these people get if they smash that like today, OC?
I want to keep it simple today. I don't know. When I try to do this kind of like outros, I think it twice because quick disclaimer: my humor is pretty dark to say the least. All right, so guys,
Just a little.
yes, just a little. So guys, thank you so much for joining. I know I just jumped in to say hi and spread the love. So thank you guys for your warm welcoming. Also, thank you, Trey Fly, for that great introduction. I love you, brother. And remember to click that like button, because if you do, meet the hump of the week will taste like Friday. So when you get home, make sure you pop that beer up, non-alcohol, because still mid part of the week, but also enjoy as it was Friday. So for you to get that feeling, make sure to click that like button, and you'll see it overcoming and calming day. So
I love when my beer tastes like Friday, so that's great.
So,
Trey,
there's
what do you got for the people?
There's a beer called Friday Beers.
Oh, is there really?
Oh, really?
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
there's a company. They're
Nice.
actually involved in the NFT world. My buddy is kind of like a promoter for them.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
Yeah,
There you go.
Some.
There you go. Well, guys, that is what we have time for today. Trade Fly, you got anything for the people on the way out? And we're going to head out of here. Guys, tomorrow, people are starting to hit the road. We're going to be live right here because I'm not going to Bitcoin 2024, even though I had a free offer for a free place to stay and a free ticket. I got things going on. Life happens, bro, okay?
Lane. That's what I got to say. OC, you want to go? You can replace him.
I would love to, but at this point, I'm still working on my visa.
But Trey Fly, what do you got for the people on the way out, man?
I got commitments. Hey, it was good hanging out with everybody here in the chat. As always, love mixing it up with you guys. It's always a good time. Come check us out. We're going to be on this evening as well on the Crypto Nightcap. We'll be doing that tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I think it might just be me tonight. We'll see. Unless I can find a co-pilot, I might be rolling solo. So hopefully I see you guys there.
Awesome. Let me know if I have to, move my schedule around and make life stop for a moment. I might be able to help you out tonight, man. Just let me know. Guys, we appreciate you joining us here today on the morning show on Piper Academy. If you guys don't know, Piper Academy, that's the channel. This is the morning show. The evening is Crypto Nightcap. And coming soon, we've got some more content coming your way. Little hint, it might have something to do with LBC and Blackie Chan. Just saying, guys, keep watching for that. We will be back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Until then, trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul train ready. What a line from OCI, from a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to project dime. And if you like the visual powered by Tar Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off.
To get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That
That was awesome, dude!